Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. 3 gunmen, including 2 of Jamaica's most wanted, killed in a standoff with security forces in St. James. 3 gunmen, including 2 of Jamaica's most wanted, have been killed during a standoff with a police military team in Spot Valley, St. James on Saturday. One of the dead men has been identified as Nesta Zado Gallimore. These are men who are believed to be responsible for over 10 murders in the parish. Gunmen kill more cousins in Roehampton, St. James. 2 days after a double murder, the community of Roehampton in St. James was hit with a triple killing on Friday night. Friday night's fatal shooting happened at a shop in the same yard where 2 men were gunned down on Wednesday night. All 5 deceased men are cousins. In the latest incident, it is reported that around 9:30, persons were at the shop, which is located in the area of the community called Gaza, when armed men came and opened fire. When the shooting subsided, 3 persons were hit. They have since been identified as 38-year-old Conroy Lawrence, otherwise called Beanie, shopkeeper Siobhan Garden, Ayla Skong, and 50-year-old Chalista Morris, otherwise called Shuttle. Following the shooting, they were taken to hospital where Lawrence and Garden were pronounced dead, and Anderson was admitted in serious condition. He later died while being treated. On Wednesday night, 20-year-old Tavar Doman and 23-year-old Linstead Anderson were at home when heavily armed men forced their way inside the house and opened fire, hitting them multiple times. The police were summoned, and upon their arrival, Doman and Anderson were discovered suffering from gunshot wounds. They were rushed to hospital where they were pronounced dead. Woman accused of ordering deadly Portland shooting remanded. Judian Jackson, the 28-year-old woman accused of hiring a contract killer to carry out a deadly attack in Port Antonio, Portland on Labor Day, was remanded Friday when she appeared in the Portland Parish Court. Ms. Jackson, who was charged with 2 counts of murder and shooting earlier last week, is to return to court on June 13. Shade Ping, 28 of Campbell Avenue, and 23-year-old Keena James of Johnstone District were shot dead at a gathering on May 23rd. It's reported that the victims were among a group of people playing dominoes on Campbell Avenue in Port Antonio sometime after 11 p.m. when a car drove up. A man alighted and opened fire on Miss Pink, who was the intended target. Mr. James was also wounded. Both were later pronounced dead at hospital. Investigators say Miss Pink, who was in an advanced stage of pregnancy, was targeted as part of a love triangle. Investigators further alleged that Miss Jackson, who is also pregnant, drove the hired killer to the scene and pointed out Miss Pink. The getaway vehicle was later seized in St. Mary. Man killed in gun attack at Westmoreland hairdresser shop. A customer was shot dead during a brazen attack at a hairdresser shop in Revival District in Westmoreland Saturday morning. The deceased has been identified as Armani Clayton, otherwise called Hugh Chang, a mechanic from Little Bay District in Westmoreland. It was reported that about 11:20 a.m., Clayton attended the hairdressing shop and decided to wait as the hairdresser he wanted to see was busy. Police said that after waiting approximately 10 minutes, loud explosions were heard. Shortly afterwards, checks were made, and Clayton was seen motionless, lying face down in the hairdresser shop in a pool of blood. The police were alerted and on arrival, found Clayton suffering from what appeared to be gunshot wounds to both hands and upper body. The police stated that several 9mm Spence casings were observed on the scene. No motive has been established for the killing, the police said. Pigskin charged for 2022 shooting. The St. Andrew North Police have charged a 34-year-old man with illegal possession of firearm, illegal possession of ammunition, and wounding with intent with the use of a firearm following an incident on Constant Spring Road, Kingston 8, on Monday, August 1, 2022. Charged is Mario Solomon, otherwise called Pigskin, a chef of Grill Park Crescent, Kingston 11. Reports are that about 11:50 p.m., Solomon was traveling in a motor truck with 2 other men who opened gunfire at a group of people, 2 of whom were shot several times. The police were alerted, and upon their arrival, the injured men were taken to hospital where they were treated. Solomon and the other men escaped in the area. An investigation was launched, and Solomon was apprehended on June 2nd and was subsequently charged following an interview. His court date is being finalized. Woman charged after allegedly using books to fracture father's ribs. A father brought an assault charge against his daughter after alleging that she fractured his ribs when she threw a stack of books at him. Alisa Jadu was charged with assaulting occasionally actually bodily harm. She was also slapped with malicious destruction of property after her father reported that his glasses and wristwatch, valued at $150,000, were damaged during the incident. The Kingston and St. Andrew Court was told that on February 27, the complainant and his daughter were in an argument stemming from Jadu striking her parents from seeing her child. Jadu, during the altercation, threw a stack of books at him, which he said caught the fractured rib. The man also said he received multiple scratches to his back and his right arm was also damaged during the assault. Although he was a bit hesitant to have the matter referred to the restorative justice because he said the family has invited Jadu to sit down and talk, but she refused, the man ultimately agreed. This is a criminal proceeding. There is more at risk, Senior Parish Judge Louis and Montague said. He also told the judge that Jadu has lived in his house for 38 years, and since she left with her child, his wife has been distraught. I would not like to see my daughter go to prison. I would not like to see her paying over hundreds of thousands of dollars, the man said. The matter was then referred to restorative justice, with both parties being ordered to return to court on July 10. Government ramps up sensitization sessions to tackle predatory larceny. The government has ramped up sensitization around farm safety procedures in light of the increase in predatory larceny in recent weeks. Coordinator in the Predatory Larceny Prevention Coordination Unit of the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, Kalisa Hall, said the monthly sensitization sessions are dictated based on where the reports come from or farmers who contact their different RADA groups for the Predatory Larceny Prevention Unit to talk with community members or the farmers group. She added that when it comes to reporting predatory larceny, many farmers are afraid to do so and instead prefer to talk to other farmers about the issue. Hall said once the farmers are told that the first step is to make a report to the police, they try to withdraw from doing so because they may know who the perpetrators are. This may include their relatives. This is why the ministry has been increasing public education activities with a view to getting more comfortable with the idea of reporting. The ministry's public education efforts rely heavily on the Jamaica Agricultural Society and the Rural Agricultural Development Authority to invite individuals to a location for mass meetings or individual farmers group. Up until April of this year, the statistics for predatory larceny matters reported stood at 10,072, and we know that is not correct. I am in constant dialogue with farmers, and I know last month the number of reported cases to the police is not representative of the true reality of what is happening, Hall stated. She added that predatory larceny has become an organized crime with gang involvement, especially with the stealing of large livestock. Farmers are encouraged to go around their own farms, reach out to the police if they are not comfortable with security assessment, ensure proper fencing is in place, be mindful of the people they employ, or even get a dog to help with safeguarding. Individuals are also encouraged to register, buy, and use the receipt book sold by the judge for the police to trace and have access to their transactions. This will help to verify whether the items people are transporting were obtained legitimately or if they were stolen. The Predatory Larceny Prevention Unit works closely with the Community, Safety and Security Branch of the Jamaica Constabulary Force that encourages farmers to establish a farm watch or set up a structure that works for them. Police officers are now clear of the many different legislation that can utilize to detect breaches, and if caught with goods that are not accounted for, the perpetrators could be charged for unlawful possession, Hall stated. For more information, individuals may reach out to the closest RADA parish office or contact the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining at 876-927-1731. Several drains to be cleaned across Kingston this hurricane season. The Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, KSAMC, is taking steps to have several drains cleaned. The cleaning of the drains come as of 2023 Atlantic hurricane season has begun. Mayor of Kingston, Delroy Williams, says both coastal and non-coastal drains will be cleaned. He noted that there are over 80 shelters across the corporate area to accommodate persons in the event of a hurricane.
The critical coastal drains will be cleaned, and that program is already in place for start. Then after and in sometimes overlapping, we clean critical non-coastal drains, and then there is a general cleaning of our drain network across the municipality. We operate anywhere between 80 to 100 shelters, generally across the municipality. There are most times only a few shelters come into operation during the hurricane season, and that is because there are some high-risk areas during the hurricane seasons that are well known. And for example, the General Bull Bay area is one, the New Haven Duane Park area is another area, and then the General Bull Bay area would include Harborview and other areas. And there are areas like Gordon Town, Mavis Bank, some Lawrence Tavern, those rural areas within the municipality. So generally, although we have a large number of shelters, then only a few come into operation from our experience during the hurricane season.
Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell.